Did you see the Kylie Jenner?
Of course.
You saw the Kylie Jenner thing. So
I
was actually on Rich Valdez's show last night. So Rich Valdez does this massive radio show with like millions of listeners.
Okay.
And they were interested in the Kylie Jenner topic because it brought up the question of the obsession with youthfulness in the United States. And so I want to talk about Kylie's, her aging filter and that. And so Trelvis, can you, I think I got, yeah. Oh yeah, so there's the side by side. So I edited that because it was on TikTok. It was above and below. But I actually I clipped the video. Trelvis, can we show this just so people can see it? Because it's kind of cool.
Okay. I don't like it at all. No. No. I don't like it.
10 seconds.
I don't like it at all. No.
No.
No, I don't like it.
So yeah, that's a pretty cool. I heard that's an AI.
Yeah, I've
filter.
played with it on TikTok.
Have you? I almost asked you to do it just for the fun of it.
It looks like whenever I do it, I look like my grandmother.
Oh, you do? Like
Yeah.
it aged that much? So, I mean, it's pretty good. You know, it aged her by adding just some of the natural things that happen to our face as we get older.
Yeah.
Things like, you saw her skin was not as clear. She had some age spots.
Yeah, I really like focused in on her like creases, like
Right.
around her
Yeah.
mouth.
So and that's what
stuff.
happens is, you know, and to me, she looked on the right, like it aged her to like maybe her mid 50s. The only thing it didn't age her neck. That's one thing where it like is like she had like a 20-year-old neck and like a 55-year-old
Well,
face.
it's funny because her mom doesn't even look like that because her mom is in her like I think her mom is 60.
Yeah,
in
and
her
she
60s,
looks like
and
she's
she
40.
looks like she's 30 or 40 years
Yeah.
old. Yeah.
But I did think that it was kind of interesting to see how that thing aged you.
Yeah.
And,
It's a little scary.
yeah, and so it brought up a lot of conversations because of that. Because she's only 25 years old, and so to see yourself at 50 can be a little bit of a surprise, I think. And one of the big things popped up is about has Kylie had plastic surgery, which I don't think she has. She admitted to having lip fillers and simple stuff like that, but I don't know. I mean, she does look different now that she's a little bit older, but I just think it's the
Are you talking about like on her face?
yeah, on her face.
Oh yeah. I mean, I know that she's for sure had lip fillers.
Yeah,
but I don't
she-
know if
absolutely.
she's
She had
had
really
anything
thin
else.
lips. I don't
Yeah.
think she has. I mean, I don't know what she would have had. I mean, maybe like a rhinoplasty if her nose, but I mean, to me, her nose seems the same. So I was
think,
looking at that
yeah.
because everyone was like, oh, you've had plastic surgery. I mean, I don't think that that's true. I mean, and fillers are common in people in that
Yeah.
age. But one of the things it brought up was the obsession of this youthfulness in the United States. And it is true, like of all the countries, the United States is obsessed with looking youthful. And even Gen Z, which a lot of people thought, well, Generation Z, they're really into, like they're not as kind of capitalist as the other generations, and they probably wouldn't be interested in something superficial like their looks. Well, that's absolutely untrue.
Yeah.
Gen Zs are really big into how they look, and we as plastic surgeons see that as an increasing market share of people seeking out procedures.
Yeah, I saw this this like little meme on the internet, of course, and it was a picture of what's her name, Blanche from Golden Girls.
Yeah, right.
And she's supposed to be in her 50s in that show.
Oh my gosh.
And then they have a picture of Jennifer Aniston, who's
Yeah,
in
who's
her
in her
50s.
50s.
And they put them together, and they were like 50s from the 1980s
Yeah.
and 50s in the
Absolutely.
2023. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, people are living longer, and so they want to stay youthful as much as
Yeah.
possible.
Well, I think people thought their lives were over as soon as,
I'm 50,
It's like better
it's over.
better cut my hair off into this
Yeah,
little
get
like
the mom cut.
fluff,
Yeah.
my little fluff set.
Dude,
and
times
now,
have changed. You're
yeah,
right.
women are like, I'm not done with my
I
life.
got a lot of life to live. Yeah.
My children are grown, but I'm not done.
Well, and there are studies out there that show that people who feel good about their appearance or people who do things to improve their appearance have increases in things like self-esteem and like self-worth and also improvements in their work life.
Yeah.
There's studies out there that show that people who look more youthful do better in the workplace. And so, I do think that the United States focuses a lot on, how young people look, but I mean, there's good reason for that. I mean, people want it. People want to look young. They want to keep being out there and doing things and feeling like that they're youthful. It does help them, feel better about themselves, and also, with the improvements in potentially like the workplace environment. I mean, I don't know why anyone would, have a problem with it, as long as, just like everything, it has to be taken in moderation.
Yeah.
You know,
Moderation, balance.
balance, right? You can't just be obsessed with going out and getting tons of surgery and things that aren't needed, and letting it ruin your life if you don't.
Yeah, if
meet some
that happens,
criteria.
then you might end up on this show as
I know,
a
right?
story.
That's right. So I wanted to kind of go over some of the things that people can do to stay young, and it's some of the things we've talked about. And of course, there's a lot of people out there who necessarily may not want to do a procedure, right? Or even like a non-surgery procedure. There are things that you can do to stay youthful, and it's kind of a long-term gain, right? Like if you want to do these things, you have to kind of be consistent with it. So number one, I would say is avoid the sun as much as possible, or at least avoid ultraviolet light, which means, here in Texas, it's sunny, 9 months out of the year. You can't stay out of the sun, but you can use sunscreen.
Yeah, it's kind of hell on earth right now here.
Yeah, it has been a rough summer. I don't know if everybody's summer is the same as it is like in Texas, but it's summer.
I think as Texans, we just like block it out and then until it's here again.
It's funny, like last summer was pretty mild and I didn't think it was bad at all, but man, this summer's been pretty brutal. So, but make sure you're wearing your sunscreen. It is important. We talked about that last week, remember, with Gwyneth Paltrow.
I went to the lake and I forgot to put sunscreen on my back.
You did?
I didn't get burned that bad, but I definitely had a little bit of burn.
You're going to be in my office in a few years.
It was on my back, not on. I got all this part, but my back did not.
Yeah, you need help.
Yeah.
Also, smoking is something that ages us. People that smoke tend to get fine lines and wrinkles. It also changes their skin. Avoiding big weight changes. That's one thing that I see in my practice. I do a lot of breast and body surgery, is that people who get big fluctuations in their weight, it ages their skin a lot. And so, of course, with women, pregnancy, obviously you have to gain weight for that. But keeping it within like a normal boundary is good.
I feel like that also just puts stress on your body in general,
for sure.
And like your mental health.
Joints and things. Yeah, mentally, there's a lot of reasons. Avoiding excess alcohol. It's also one that ages us, so we got to keep an eye on ourselves, Sarah. I'm watching you. And then and then healthy diet, which is the worst for me. I was just talking about before we started that my entire consumption
today
today
eat more protein.
It's been a half a bag of Cheez-Its.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring my whey protein and just like scoop it into your
just like
mouth.
pitch it at me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to like take the next step and do like procedures that make you look young, the one thing I would say that gives you the most bang for your buck would be Botox. Because as we age, the lines that we get in our forehead, between our eyes, and right here, which for me, I'm genetically blessed, I don't use Botox, but I am starting to get some small ones, those make you look aged. And that's why you'll see people like Kylie Jenner in their 20s getting Botox, because they never get those lines.
Yeah,
and
I need to start going. I can
you come by the office, man, we'll hook you up. Fillers is another one. When you looked at Kylie's, hey, can you, not the video, can you throw up the picture of Kylie, the side by side, right? So what's noticeable on that right picture is how deep the line is in between the nose and the corner of her mouth. That's called the nasolabial fold. And what happens is as we age, the mid face, the part in between that line and the eye, starts to sag, and it makes that line or that crease much more noticeable. And that's where something like fillers would come in, because you can put a filler in that crease to kind of pop it out. Things like laser treatments can tighten up the skin and kind of help with that. And so there are things that can make that better. And also on that picture, you don't have to put it back up, but you notice that her skin, she had age spots, and there's intense pulse light that can get rid of that. So, there are things that you can do, both preventative and maintenance, to stay youthful. And I as a plastic surgeon, of course, I'm not going to condemn America for wanting to stay young. I mean, that's part of.
She's actually talked about it on one of their episodes, the Kardashians. She was talking to her sisters about like, have y'all ever thought about like the standards that we put out into society for other little girls? Because because she had just had her little girl, and her little girl's growing up, and she's just like, I don't want her to feel like she has to look like me, or that she has to, have, that Kardashian look. She doesn't want it.
And I think
So-
that's the whole moderation thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I think most importantly is be happy with yourself, without a doubt, you have to be comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know you work out. I'm kind of getting back into. We all want to look our best, or I think a lot of us do.
Yeah.
And so
I try to take care of myself.
try to take care of ourselves, right? So, anyway, well, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about the aging filter, and if you have any questions about staying youthful, we'd love to talk about it on one of our upcoming episodes.